Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we've had an overall picture. Now let's jump in, okay, to what we know are very complex, hot potato issues. Now let's not be shy, okay? So the next 30 minutes, we're going to discuss the Muslim vote. What has happened? What is happening is that you are seeing these traditional issues becoming political polarization issues in the middle part of this election cycle. And they're all being predicated around what the BJP is saying, that number one, the Congress wants to come into your house and to check your assets, how much money you have, how much jewelry you have. Okay, that's their understanding of wealth survey redistribution. Then they say, first they'll come and ask you the money, then they'll take away the money, and who will they give it to? They will give it, and then the BJP is trying to fine tune it. I don't know how subtle you can be, but they're trying to fine tune it that not necessarily to even India's Muslims, but a lot of these foreigners who've come in from Bangladesh or have come in from Myanmar, that they will hand over all of this. So this is part of the political cycle. And the entire conversation is now hinging around what was said by Manmohan Singh, the former Prime Minister. The Congress is denying that he never said it. Let's listen to what was actually said, what's being said right now, what was said then, what was said 20 years ago, and then let's pick up this conversation. Let's listen in first.
Mohammad Zakir, who is the president of Papughat Fruit Market Association. Zakir ji,
आपकी मेहनत की कमाई का पैसा घुसपैठियों को दिया जाएगा? आपको मंजूर है ये कांग्रेस का मैनिफेस्टो कह रहा है कि वो माताओं बहनों का सोने का हिसाब करेंगे, उसकी जड़ती करेंगे, जानकारी लेंगे और फिर उस संपत्ति को बांट देंगे।
25 गारंटी हमने जो दी सबके लिए दिए हैं, गरीब के लिए है, महिला के लिए है, युवाओं के लिए है, दलित के लिए है, सबके लिए हमने दिया है। और जो चीजें सबको मिलते हैं वो हर एक को मिलता है।
डॉक्टर मनमोहन सिंह जी का एक और पुराना वीडियो सामने आया है, जिसमें फिर से वो वही कह रहे हैं कि देश के संसाधनों पर पहला हक मुसलमानों का है।
I said minorities, particularly the Muslim minorities, if they are poor, they have prior claims on the resources of the country.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, let's underline certain things. Yes, he said it. He didn't say it once, he said it twice. He said that when it comes to those who are oppressed, including the Muslims, that they have the first call on India's resources. It suited the politics then, it doesn't suit the politics near say now. So the distinction now is limited to this before I open up this conversation. The BJP says that we are bringing a new era of secularism. Secularism means that everybody gets the house, the road access, the toilet, regardless of any religion issues. And they will dare you to point out a single anecdote, a single case, a single survey, a single story in which in the last 10 years, where Muslims have come out and said, no, we have not got the Awas Yojana, we have not got the Mudra loan, we have been denied these things because of our religion. And then their consequence is that if they have got their house, if they've got the loans, if they've got equitable treatment, this is the new secularism. The Prime Minister has roughly put this in Parliament several times, okay? Now juxtapose that to the Congress saying there is no harm that as long as there is a economic variant to the Muslim quota, there's no harm in a Muslim quota. But there needs to be an economic variant, and that's the caveat they're having. Now, what you're seeing on your screen, ladies and gentlemen, is anecdotal evidence, because we can do the anecdotal evidence because for the statistics of how many houses built and Mudra loans, you have to rely on government agencies. But we can do anecdotal evidence. Now, you're seeing over the past few months, these are Indian Muslims, okay, talking about what they're using. Here's Mohammad Zakir talking about how UPI is helping him in his thela that he runs. You're going to see people who are Muslim families in UP who've got a pakka ghar for the first time. You're going to see Muslim women who have received a toilet for the first time, and they're talking about how that's really changing their lives. So that doesn't mean they've become BJP voters. But this is what the BJP says is our version of secularism. So let's open up this conversation. Priya Sehgal still in the studios with me, Sumit P joining us on the broadcast, Rahul Ishwar joining us on the broadcast, Sham Ravish Rain joining us on the broadcast as well. So let's pick this up conversationally. Ms. Rain, let me begin with you. And let me begin with a straightforward question.
Yeah.
Have you seen or heard or witnessed or have been told that in all the government schemes, that is, the direct subsidy to the farmers and the ration to the 800 million people and the houses and the highways and the jal and, literally the toilets and the Ujjwala, that there is being widespread discrimination because of religion in this country for the past 10 years?
No, I would say that discrimination on many parts are not happening, but at few places it is happening. For instance, bulldozer, that is a perfect example wherein anyone could easily make out that the Muslims' house are being targeted. So building a toilet, building a washroom, or building having that UPI, these places, I think that not every place discrimination is happening. But yes, every time these kind of statements making that India, the PM making such kind of a statement that the Muslims are such कि पूरा India का पूरा पैसा Muslims को ही पकड़ा दिया जाएगा, and all such statements. It's a very ridiculous statement being made by such an old man, I would say. I mean, he is of our grandfather's age. कम से कम दादाजी को इस उम्र में अब थोड़ा सा he should talk about the development. Entire world is now talking about building a livable space on the Mars, and here on Earth and here in India specifically, it's still Hindu-Muslim. Muslim ने ऐसा किया, बाहर से ये Muslims आए. I think it is enough for that.
No, but in fairness, ma'am, in fairness, for weeks and months, Narendra Modi has only been talking about development. In fact, a lot of people are suggesting that this has been a rather tame build-up to the election because there have not been hot potato issues until they were brought up by the Congress, which said, okay, we need to talk about caste, we need to talk about identity, we need to talk about class, we need to talk about religion. And he's jumped in. He's being a politician. Yes, for sure he's being a politician because polarization benefits both sides. So let me ask you then the second question. For those who genuinely have now seen that, yes, we've got a house, yes, the toilets were actually built, maybe not 10% of what is being claimed, but they came our way. The highways are becoming better, that we also travel in the Vande Bharat trains. What then remains the core concern to not believe sabka saath, sabka vikas?
No, so development has been happening. If you say that the Congress has not done, it has done. So the metro came, other developments happened. So development, this highways and roads, these keep on happening. These will never stop, whether a party comes or not. It's BJP or it's Congress. Entire India will keep on growing because it's the IAS, it's the bureaucrats who are the ones who are actually sitting there and who takes the action there. You are just a signing authority who would say कि हाँ ये वाला जो project है ये वाला अब से start हो जाए, because you have to take a call from everyone ki whether so much of this amount should be submitted and then the budget should start or not, the work should start or not. But yeah.
Okay, just stay with me because you're watching on your screen, ladies and gentlemen, and you can find this clipping on YouTube. We put it there, and this is not our reporting team that went out there to find Muslims who received the beneficiary. They just went out there, and every locality in the country you'll go, you'll find some Hindus, you'll find some Muslims, you'll find some Sikhs, and that's how it will happen. But this is Husna Banu Begum, okay, this is in Phulwadi in Patna, and my correspondent is speaking to her, and they're talking about toilets. So she's received a toilet, and she's talking about how that helps her, especially during the day when otherwise they could not go to the toilet, at night, when they had to worry about snakes and scorpions. Now this is something that has happened. So let me get Priya Sehgal into this. Priya Sehgal, this has been a long-standing, fixed, no brains required part of politics in this country through my lifetime and through yours. is the BJP at least chipping away at it? Okay, like they're trying to chip away with in Tamil Nadu with the Tamil Sangangam and the PM doing Singol and quoting Tamil authors. Is there at least, are they at least trying? So do we take them at face value when they're saying, listen, we are building the houses, we are building the toilets, and Muslims are also benefiting from it?
No, definitely, in that limited sense, yes, they're not saying that you're a Muslim, so I won't give you a toilet, or I won't give you a Ujjwala, connection or anything. That is not happening. In fact, I would say they're even seeking out in Western UP and areas. They are trying to accommodate all because they realize in areas where there is a strong minority population, they will do their bit and try and reach out to people. But in terms of optics, this is what I don't understand, that suddenly, as you said, it was a perfectly fine first phase. Why do you want to ratchet up the whole rhetoric in the second phase and talk about infiltrators, and that too no one less than the Prime Minister? It's okay if some second rung or third rung leader talks about it, but when the Prime Minister makes comments like that, it is a little worrying, because it does affect the social fabric of the country to have a section of the society who is now settled in and is getting your benefits, and you are trying to take them along. You are trying to say Hamara Vikas is for everybody, sabka saath. Then to say, bhai, you are also infiltrators, or Congress will help infiltrators. It's there is a two-faced rhetoric over here that is not gelling. It's A plus B is not adding up in this sense.
Okay.
So that is the concern,
okay.
really.
So
which
on
is
your screens now, this is Shamli. Okay, Shamli, infamous for ugliness, for rioting, for nastiness taking place. Okay, Mohammed Intizar there, whom we spoke to, this is brother. They've got, for the first time in their lives, their family has got a house with a lentil. Ladies and gentlemen, that means a concrete roof. Okay, and it's a big ticket item. Your entire health, safety, social prestige, standing in the community becomes different when you go from a temporary accommodation to a full-fledged house which has a concrete roof, and it makes a difference. But let me reverse then the question and put this to Sumit Peer. Sumit Peer, let me reverse the question around. That if the BJP is doing as it says it's doing, because we have no evidence, zero, not one anecdote, not one report to claim that discrimination has happened on religious grounds in the past 10 years, let alone genocide, rioting, mass murder, which was being predicted. At the same time, how do we tell the Muslims of this country that the Bharatiya Janata Party cannot find one single person out of 200, maybe 50 million, who they think can be a qualified member of parliament?
Rishabh ji, thanks for having me.
That's a wonderful question.
You see, I'll tell you, BJP works on a cadre-based system. It's the, when you select, let's say MP, the Prant Pracharak, Kshetri Pracharak and the party cadre get together, then they see who has the maximum winnability. The winnability of a candidate determines his or her capability to get a ticket. Let's say if I ask for a ticket, I may not get a ticket, but I may not have the winnability. Or let's say if you ask for a ticket, you may not get the ticket, you may not have a winnability, but some person who nobody knows will have that winnability and he will get the ticket and he will win. Now, if it's a discrimination against Muslims, then I have an answer. You see, anybody can stand up as an independent. Nobody stops you in this country to stop as an independent. If you have the capability, if you have the people with you, start up as an put your nomination as independent and win the seat. Who's stopping you? Is there a rule that only if a BJP nominates you, you can get selected? No. You can stand up as an
But Sumit, okay, let's put it another way. Okay. I can argue that I am pretty keen on supporting the cause of Kashmiri Pandits. Okay.
Yeah.
That I would take up the conversations. I've been pushing for seats in the new J&K Assembly for Kashmiri Pandits, in Parliament for Kashmiri Pandits. But that is predicated on the logic that you don't need me or somebody else to speak for you. Best case scenario, representatives of the Kashmiri Pandit communities are sitting in the assembly in Srinagar or sitting in Parliament and speaking for themselves. So a community voice does matter. Even though others can say we speak for you and we represent your best interests and we'll come out and do your best. So at least can we understand the apprehension? Maybe that last mile has not been crossed despite the good work done which we were showing on our screens.
See, Rishabh ji, if you want to break it up to communities and firkas and tabkas, then in India you need to have managed 10,000 seats in the parliament, because if you want to go to that logic, then there are castes, there are subcastes, there are firkas and there are tabkas. Everybody will say, bhai, mere to representation hai nahi. So usually it is the democracy works on the basis of winnability. Anybody, if I think I can win a New Delhi seat, let me contest independent tomorrow, and if I have the capability, I'll win. Else, if I want to ride on Modiji's shoulders and win, then it will be the discretion of the Modiji as a politician. Does he want to give me a ticket or not?
Okay.
Who stops the Muslim independent to contest and win.
Okay, ma'am, no, I'm doing it one at a time. I'm asking the question. Let me do it.
Point over here is that whether the BJP gave any ticket or not.
So let me do it one at a time. Let me get Rahul Ishwar into this. Rahul Ishwar, now let us look back 10 years ago, okay? Because when Narendra Modi came to power, all the people who didn't like it and weren't expecting him to come to power said that this is now a Hindu nationalist government. Many people in Washington Post and New York Times are still saying the same thing, that this is a Hindu nationalist government. Okay. And he came and gave the slogan Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas. 10 years later, should we feel reassured that he's lived up to that slogan, or do we have multitude of evidence that no, in all the schemes, there has been a Hindu priority and discrimination against other minorities?
Rishabhji, two submissions. First of all, I'm a huge Narendra Modi fan. Second, I'm a Brahmin Hindu right-wing activist. At the start, I would like to offer pranam to you, touch your feet and express my respect, because you have really taken up a very good cause and a question too, and you have spoken truth to power. In spite of being a Hindu right-wing activist, I believe Modi ji should not have told the Mangal Sutra comment, should not have taken this line. I really love Modi ji, whose house has a Muslim friend with staying with him. He had his mother preparing special dishes for Eid. I really like that Modi ji, who has Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, Sabka Vishwas kind of a slogan. Modi ji, being the politician he is, maybe because the election is getting too heated up, maybe have taken this line. But I really like the Modi ji 3 days back, not just before the Rajasthan speech. That is the Modi ji, I believe, who has done Gandhi Sankalpa Yatra with BJP cadres, that has taken consistently a center-right line, that has said, I will never forgive Satvi Pragya for her Godse comments, and avoided people like Ananda Kumar Hedge, who has always taken a anti-Muslim line. So that is the Modi ji, I believe, should lead us. That's one. Second thing, see, in Indian political reality, there are two spectrums. One is a left liberal spectrum. Second is a right nationalistic spectrum. This left liberal spectrum, the enemy is always the forward caste Hindu, the Brahmin. In the right, ultra right spectrum, the enemy is always the Muslim. That's the reason why when somebody says it is 80 versus 20, the other side says it is 85 versus 50, signifying 85% backward and 50% forward. We need a narrative where there is 100 versus 0, where 100% are Indians and nobody is on the other side. We need such a political culture.
So Rahul, has he lived up to the slogan? Because it was just a slogan 10 years ago. The proof of the pudding had to be in the
slogan.
Has he lived up to it?
Just one submission. It was not a slogan. It was a lived reality.
Ma'am, hang a second. I'm going to come to you. We have time. Let me finish.
One submission. Modi ji lived up to that. He went to Palestine, won their highest award. He went to UAE, he won the highest award. He very consciously balanced these priorities. India has the best Muslim world relationship right now, even acknowledged by a global citizen like Shashi Tharoor. So that is a reality. But maybe because of politics, he is taking this line. That's a different thing. But Modi ji's 10 years were without riots or without any much serious problems or more of amity. Modi ji was ready to concede many times, just like the Farm Bill, just like so many other. For example, take the case of NRC. NRC was in the last BJP's manifesto, but in this manifesto, NRC didn't even find a mention. So that is how a leader should be. So that is the Modi ji we're having. Modi ji is never having any discrimination. Second, very important point. Yes. BJP says they believe in genuine secularism. Congress says, BJP says is in pseudo-secularism. The issue is there is nothing called secularism. There is only something called pluralism. Secularism is a false, is a farce, is an illusion. There is nothing called secularism. But there is something called Gandhian pluralism which we should be following, which is more of harmony, which is more of coming together. See, the whole idea of secularism was injected by our left liberal friends, starting from Indira Gandhi or having birth in the Nehruvian secularist framework. There is nothing called genuine or non-genuine secularism. Secularism itself is a wrong idea because every nation has their own communities, their own preferences, their own categories. So we need harmony and pluralism.
So let me give Ms. Rain back. Ms. Rain, for all the nastiness that we were told is about to be unleashed upon India, from Muslim genocide is about to take place, and all Muslims are going to run away and live for fear in their lives, and these are polished people, some very much Indians, writing about this in the foreign press. Isn't it the truth that none of that has happened, that good things have indeed taken place, And yes, every party has people who should not say certain things. The Congress party, I'm sure, is not pretty thrilled with what certain individuals sitting in the US has said in the past 48 hours. But yes, Sadhvi Pragya is gone. Uma Bharti Ara is gone. The VHP is not, the friends that they used to be. They've been sidelined. You can go on count that this is somebody trying to walk the talk. Doesn't Narendra Modi not deserve credit for doing what he said he would do?
No, if you will say that such kind of a statement that was made that the genocide would happen, no, I'm not talking about that. But yes, if you are saying that there is inequality, yes, it has been. So looking from past 10 years, I would say bully is a illegal thing out of India. In India, in Parliament, it started by Mr. Modi and his team, calling the opposition party as using such wrong words like papu or such kind of words they were used. So
That's
bullying,
not communal, right?
no, wait,
Yeah.
let me complete it here. So they have started it and it kept on going, where you could see that any Muslim who is wearing a hat, a Muslim hat, that person has always been stopped on the road, and then some kind
What?
of misbehavior has actually happened with them.
What? Yeah, ma'am, that's a generalization. Are you saying Muslims are being stopped on the road every day and they're being mistreated? Where are you getting this from?
If you will see during Ramzan, no, sorry, during this where this 7 days Vrat is done.
Ram Navami, are you referring to any chance?
Yes. So at that time in entire UP, non-veg is not served. Why? Just because it is 9-day Navratri. Muslims don't have a right, or else it's not only about Muslims. Don't anyone have a right to eat?
Ma'am, I don't know where you. My question was different. Okay, when we began with the premise that this is going to be a Hindu nationalist government that's going to work only for Hindus, that all hell will break loose and all the extremist elements. None of that has happened, ma'am. We've seen bridges being built and roads being built and trains coming and airports coming, and we've seen the houses being built. We've seen the toilets being built. So can we be fair and move away and saying that minorities are being persecuted?
Sorry?
Where are the minorities being persecuted? Where is the persecution?
The bulldozer thing has always happened. You have seen that if there is some kind of a right wherein a wrong thing happened, so it was the specifically Muslims' house that was demolished and not.
Ma'am, what are you talking? I mean, in Madhya Pradesh, a drunk man was mistreating a poor man on the street. Next morning, his house was demolished on the grounds of being illegal. That person was neither the victim nor the oppressor had anything to do with Islam. Okay, so I think you're doing an unfair generalization. Okay.
In general, that
Ma'am, but come on, again you're talking in general. Can you give me again not one case where Muslims have come out and said that we've not received the houses, we have not gotten the benefits?
I'm not saying that they have not. Development has happened. Everyone.
If we have fair conversations, we have healthier conversations. Okay, so
talking about any kind of injustice happened. Yes, it has happened on the basis of the religion alone.
Okay, all right. Okay, let me get Priya into this conversation. Priya, but then are we also being unfair to the other extreme then? Okay, that yes, there could have been bad instincts in the party, okay, or people who were waiting for a long period of time. The Ram Mandir got built, it was in a peaceable fashion, okay. Did the BJP take political mileage out of it? Absolutely they did, okay, but in terms of what's happened in Kashmir, in terms of rolling out the schemes, in terms of, the VHPs nobody talks about, all these, these various senas that had started off have, all I won't say withered away, but at least been pushed away from the center. There were complete fundamentalist people. Even a Yogi Adityanath today talks about roads and talks about Noida becoming the hub for this and one district, one product. He's not constantly talking about his mutt and his religious activities. So should we be fair? The BJP at least has tried to walk the talk on Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas.
They do walk the talk, Rishabh, but I'll tell you what the problem is. There is a slight dichotomy in what they do and what they say. Because unfortunately, and this is not for the BJP, but in all elections, development alone does not win elections. It is, you need that something extra, and that extra comes from emotion. Now, unfortunately, emotion is related to identity politics. Hence, it is either politics of caste or politics of religion, which is why you have seen, in the first phase when the people did Prime Minister and the BJP kept the rhetoric to development, there wasn't that cadre was not so much motivated, or whatever the reason was, they felt they had to ratchet up the rhetoric a bit and bring in this whole minority conversation has come up again. I have been in an election rally in Bhopal, where the chief minister from outside state, BJP chief minister came, and I heard him at a corner meeting, and he said कि मैं औरंगजेब और बाबर की औलाद को टाइट करने के लिए आया हूँ, and this is not Yogi Adityanath. So this is what BJP chief ministers are talking. They don't do it, Rishabh, but this is how they talk. Why? Let me just finish. This is to whip up their vote bank, and because Hindus is not a one monolithic block. Now there are people like even Rahul Ishwar was here, who is not happy with something that is happening. He will vote for, whether he votes on his religion or not. I don't want to talk about his voting preference, but basically Hindus do vote for other parties also. How do you get them to vote on identity politics is to make it a Hindu versus Muslim thing. So this is poll rhetoric in government. One second. In government, I would agree with you that they're doing something, but when it comes to now, it's not just the Prime Minister, it's not just the Prime Minister, he's also a BJP leader. And he's talking as a BJP leader when he talks about these things. It is to whip up the vote bank.
Okay, so is it to whip up the vote bank? Does polarization matter in politics? Yes, it does. But again, what is the point of the conversation? So let me now ask the question to Sumit. Sumit, is it reasonable to say that, okay, if there were Muslims in this country and they have not really seen Narendra Modi outside of Gujarat, okay, and in Gujarat, let's face it, he's been accused of all sorts of nasty things. So that's what the assumption of the people is, okay, and then they are told by the people in India, the people abroad, that listen, you don't know what's about to hit you. Now they've had 10 years to judge Narendra Modi for his actions. You can judge the words, but you can also judge the actions. In judging the actions, will there be a few in this election who will be saying, listen, hang on, our fears and what was written in the New York Times and Washington Post and what was told to us by certain individuals here, including politicians, was not true. He's done a good job. He has said what he had to say, and maybe we'll vote for him. Who knows?
Rishabh ji, there will not be a little, there will be a lot of people, because if you talk of talaq with the triple talaq gone, if you talk of a pakka makan, 4 crore makan given, 18 crore tap water connections given. If you talk of Ayushman Bharat, 54 crore people, that's more than the United States population have been gotten cover. If you talk of the people who have been treated under Ayushman Bharat, is more than the population of United Kingdom. If you talk of 390 universities, if you talk of 354 medical colleges, if you talk of number 4 in hydrocarbons, if you talk of this Ujjwala Prajwala going to every household, if you talk of 98% LPG per concentration, if you talk of drone Didi, Lakpati Didi, where is the discrimination in all of these schemes? Where do you find an iota of discrimination? Was any Muslim anywhere in across 1.4 billion people said, okay, you're a Muslim, you will not be given this? No, it was given to all. In fact, a lot of government schemes, the data says 65% of the benefits have gone to the minority community, which is okay. That's not a problem, because if they deserve it, let it go. So when these things happen, these all facades and canards which are built by New York Times and all are a figment of imagination. They're a part of cabal. They don't want India to progress. They want India to still believe in coalition dharma, coalition politics and saffron terror, which all were figments of imagination which were created by Congress. They don't want an independent India. They don't want a resilient India. They don't want an India who can buy their Russian oil and also cannot have the Katska sanctions. They don't want an India who can look into and set its own international policy. They don't want an India who says, I'll move on without Pakistan. They don't want an India who's Atmanirbhar. They don't want an India who's a nuclear tribe. You don't want an India who's self-sufficient in arms and ammunition.
So I'm short of time. Rahul Ishwar, let me put the same question to you. Okay, has enough been done to at least make a reasonable argument before the larger, very reasonable community of our fellow Indians who happen to be of the Muslim faith, that their worst apprehensions have not been realized and good things have indeed happened, and maybe some of them will be considering in their families that, you know what, it's worth my vote.
Absolutely, yes. See, RSS has a Muslim Rashtriya Manch, a formal organization associated with them. Pujaniya Sarsang Chalak has always been reaching out to Muslim community. Modi ji has been reaching out to Muslim community. See, Modi ji has not done anything bad for them. But please remember, I'll tell you the core issue in just one line. See, our Christian brothers have a Sunday gathering. Our Muslim brothers have a Friday gathering. So we Hindu community doesn't have a sense of togetherness and gathering. So in order to create that togetherness, we always create a sense of the other. That's the reason why all the theories about land jihad is coming, all the theories about halal jihad is coming. So the entire theory is created because we want a sense of the other. There should be an enemy on the other side to energize us. That's the real politics behind this. Ambedkar has said this during the times of independence, where the various Hindu communities, the forward caste, the backward caste, the Brahmins, Thakurs, all these things have to be brought together. So some people are creating a sense of the enemy. So this is only a sense of the enemy. They are never going to walk that particular or talk that, do any particular angle. It is just talk. It is more related to election rhetoric. I strongly believe, and I trust Modi ji, that Modi ji, when he does action, will always take a moderate line. But during elections, he may take a rhetorical line, because that will rile up, that will energize the cadre.
Quick question to Ms. Ren, because the slogan got amended. It got amended from Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas to Sabka Vishwas. Okay. What more could a Narendra Modi have done in the last 10 years? What more? And I pointed out the one anomaly, which is the members of parliament already. But what more could he have done in the last 10 years to convince Muslims in this country that he means what he says about the development of Viksit Bharat and putting aside this two-nation theory?
The most important thing is actually only one thing, and that is respect. Respect has not been there. Every religion, everyone from different castes, from different classes, from different religion, no one has equal respect. That is one thing where he is actually lacking, and that is the most important place where he needs to work.
Okay, I think Sumit Peer would feel that Kashmiri Pandits have been highly disrespected for past 40 years. Sumit, go ahead.
Rishabh ji, it's not a question of respect, because when you talk of governance, it cannot be religion, tabka and firqa specific. It has to be generic for all. And it is how it is done right now in India. And as far as the Honorable Prime Minister's comments are there, he was responding to what Mr. Rahul Gandhi said. It was started by Rahul Gandhi, and as the tallest leader of the country, as the biggest Hindu leader, I have no problem saying he's a Hindu leader. I, as a normal Hindu, will want him to respond to that. I want to know, bhai, mere Pradhan Mantri ji, if somebody wants to count the bangles of my wife and know about the Mangal Sutra of white, want to distribute my wealth, I will look up to Modi ji, because he's the one who will assure me or tell me what is going to happen. If he doesn't tell me, I will feel apprehensive. So by doing this, he has only addressed the apprehensions of 1.2 billion Hindus and maybe 1.4 billion people of India altogether. That is fair enough, and we expect that from the Congress leader.
Okay, so let us. Okay, so I'm out of time. I need to take a break. So let us also not assume that Hindus in this country also don't have apprehensions.
Correct.
Hindus can also look at what's happened in Pakistan and Iran, Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, and feel troubled. So, but we have to accept that other than development, that development is important, and honestly, again, I can only repeat one line. You cannot bring a single instance, single anecdote, single report, single news story of anybody in 10 years saying, I'm Muslim and I did not get my ration card. I'm Muslim and I did not get my house. And that is in itself a remarkable achievement of proof of the pudding. But beyond this, ladies and gentlemen, your fears as human beings, as Hindus have them, that what if one day this becomes a Muslim majority country? Look what's happened to the minorities in our near neighborhood. They are finished. They've been wiped out. That's a fear. You can be a rational fear or irrational fear. Similarly, Muslims living here in India can have a rational or irrational fear. We are not past it completely yet. Hopefully, we're getting there. I'm back in 1 minute to pick up this conversation on the other side.